Good morning, TBCians. Again, this is TBCian Amilita Clemenya. And I just want to give you guys an overview of what is TBC, Lifeforce, and Assembly, how it becomes related, or why Lifeforce hired TBC to create an assembly. Okay, so this is struck from the admin's blog last month. So I will just read some part of this. TBC and Lifeforce are both the kind of organizations that can change the world for the better. Both TBC and Lifeforce are working tirelessly to bring this nightmare to an end. TBC has been on a mission to end poverty globally since day one, over 5 years now. TBC and Lifeforce need your support in order to build a better world for all. We need to get out combined organizations into the tens of millions of people to properly support this great effort. For goodness sake, let's finally get the TBC built so TBC is properly funded to operate. Each of you should maximize your efforts to get to an assembly and show up to their weekly meetings. We encourage all of you to develop your own $10 million plus project and present it to Lifeforce when they call for it. They said they will start with 1 million projects when the time comes. Hopefully, the support will be there to make the time come before the end of 2021. Support TBC and Lifeforce so we can get back to a real normal like how it was in the year 2019. Together, we can change the world. So that's the blog was admin posted, guys. And also I'm going on to give you a glimpse of the Lifeforce website. Okay, so let me share my screen of what a Lifeforce and the assembly. Lifeforce Restoration Plan. We each have a part to play in the greater Lifeforce community. Lifeforce encompasses all areas of life, and to begin simultaneously launches 5 primary divisions. Each of these divisions supports and interacts with the others. We started this movement as a means of recruiting and organizing our veterans along with various civilian defense and patriot groups to ensure the protection of the people's fundamental rights. From there, the movement has grown exponentially. President Trump voiced his endorsement of our lawful efforts, and we move to act as the executive order enforcement and human rights task force, committed to protecting every living individual's right to safety, live free as Americans according to the law of the land. As coalition, both dedicated to and knowledgeable of the true spirit of the Constitution. We step forward to serve in our personal best interests, in the best interest of posterity, and in the best interest of our fellow Americans. Actually, it's not for America, guys. It's all for the humanity. We draw our authority from the powers latent in humans, inherent from birth, provided to us by our Creator, and confirmed in the founding documents of this great nation. We recognize these rights as our responsibility. We walk worthy of the highest calling, taking action that is responsible, speaking with respect, purpose, and kindness, protecting those who cannot protect themselves, and standing against tyranny, terrorism, and all abuse of power. With this agreement, we pledge to act as one body, trusting that all those who sign do the same. We embrace our moral obligation as Americans for America. We recognize that each of our established organizations was formed based on the historical integrity of those who came before us, willing to stand and claim their freedom so that we could have ours. We are the people, the guardians of freedom, protectors of history, and builders of the future. We acknowledge and accept our differences as unique individual members of a free nation. We use the immense power of diversity, love, and love of the freedom to be ourselves as the binding force that draws us together to stand as one unified body. On May 26, 2020, according to the laws defined in the Declaration of Independence, Articles of Confederation, U.S. Constitution, the Great Law of Peace, and the two Wampum Agreement of the Iroquois Nation, we exercise a right to establish this organized civilian task force that will be known as Lifeforce, for the reasons stated above. So that's Lifeforce is. So now you know that what Lifeforce is. So we are here to also give you a glimpse of an assembly. What an assembly is. And purpose, of course, you know what's the purpose of assembly. PGSD means People's Government Services Department. So we're just going to read this, the Declaration of Independence for the living beings of Earth, which was declared last July 2021. The people that reside on this planet include all conscious living beings, meaning they are able to discern between good and evil, think for themselves, identify what makes them happy or sad, contribute their unique qualities, recognize the value of others, and exist peacefully because of the awareness of that reality. We, the people, are inspired with self-awareness from birth, imbued with the gift of free will, and created from and by ultimate source, substance, limits, bounds, essence, and origin of all things. Our existence is unique for every individual while still existing within a codependent ecosystem of cooperation, each contributing to assist with another's mutual needs. All contractual agreements require that all parties comprehend the full scope of benefits and consequences, and freely consent to fairly operate within the limits of bounds of said agreement with full transparency. Implied of silent consent is never an option for a lawfully or legally binding agreement. And according to the laws of the land, regardless of circumstances, any form of assumed, implied, or silent consent is not permitted. So that's part of the Declaration of Independence. So since, wow, it's a long, so we will just read some part of this Declaration of One Accord. Law of the land. Herein explained are the laws of the land governing planet Earth in accordance with natural law by which all life abides. They are universally essential to maintain life in harmony with our coexistence of this planet, affording all living beings the opportunity, direction, and support to thrive. All laws, codes, statutes, and ordinances for every territory of the planet, whether or above or below the surface, must operate within the parameters of these governing bylaws. Any statute, code, ordinance, mandate, binding agreement, or rule of any kind in force prior to or on July 5th, 2021, which violate or allow for behavior which violates the contents of this document are void, meaning these statutes, codes, ordinances, mandates, binding agreements, and rules are unlawful to enforce and that no one is bound by them. So meaning, guys, that I don't want to talk about it. Baka ma-block pa ako dito. I just want to read some of part of this Declaration of Accord. No statute, code, ordinance, mandate, binding agreement or parole of any kind will be ratified into law or recognized by the whole of records if it is not in agreement with the natural laws as defined within the text of this declaration. So good. If you understand what I read, so it's the protocol or what you call that, it's beyond this natural law. So it's not void. These laws will be enforced by the Global Intelligence Agency and Lifeforce. Enforcement as the highest level of ratified law enforcement on the planet as recognized in the whole of records. The Global Intelligence Agency and Lifeforce enforcement have jurisdiction and authority over every military, intelligence agency, and law enforcement structure that currently exist or will exist in the future. Lifeforce enforcement operates under the direction, supervision, and authority of ground command. Lifeforce enforcement is bound to abide by and operate in accordance with the same laws defined within the text of this document. Wow. So since there are lots of things to be read here, guys, maybe I will just attach this link under this video so you could read and have the idea of what a Lifeforce is, and you will be part to support or to create an assembly in your place wherever you are in the world. So just register under my Kringle Cash link and then read the Lifeforce restoration plan, this assembly, archives, governance, and updates, and more info about it. So you could have this idea how to create an assembly in your place. So because if you're going to register under my Kringle Cash link, admin will what you call this, segregate who will be the leader in that area. If you're going to submit your details in which area you are from, so it's already what you call this, arranged, or admin already have this idea on how to be, who will be the leader in the respected area or where you are. Okay, so from this also the okay, so I think that would be all for today, guys. It's just a glimpse of what a Lifeforce is and why there is Lifeforce and why we should create an assembly to be part of the Lifeforce, because Lifeforce is what you call this, it's a for, as I have read something in the what you call this, assembly accord, somewhat like that. So it's a force of humanity, humanitarian force, somewhat like that. So I think that would be all for today, guys. For those who wants or have something to ask, just message me anytime, or just comment me on, or just comment on my video so I can directly give you of the answers of your question. Okay, so see you in the next vlog and have a blessed day. Bye for now.